Welcome to Ultimate Streetcar, where real people combine their dreams, passion, and imagination into real-world streetcars, competing on some of the world's most iconic tracks. 5 segments, 2 days, and one driver. This is Ultimate Streetcar. I am your host, Rob Kibbe, here with our Ultimate Streetcar Association co-founder, Hollywood Jimmy Day. Jimmy, I'm all messed up and discombobulated.
You said you didn't drink enough.
Coffee. Maybe I should have drank.
Right?
Drank. I'm not opposed
Well,
to
we
that.
have that new intro. We've been doing the same intro for years and years, and still getting used to the new intro. I don't know how many shows we've done with that new intro, but not very many single digits with the new intro. So it's going to take a minute.
My brain is on the old intro, and it
Sure.
is very hard to not do it.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah. Well, and I tell people that, we ran Ultimate Streetcar one way for about 12 years, right? And we are revamping almost everything this year. And so it's like new all over again. I stumbled all over the award ceremony when I was doing it at Willow Springs because we've got new sponsors and we do things differently. And the video crew's there filming it all for television and social media. And I finally had to just take a deep breath, stop, say cut, and I'm going to do it again. So luckily, and unfortunately it was being live streamed. Mac was live streaming onto Facebook. So the Facebook fans saw me in all of my messed up glory. But it'll look great in the social media and television.
Well, we got what we got. So
Yeah.
so I'm doing this from a new location here for the month of June and July. I'll be down here in Charlotte, so I'm coming to you live from a furnished apartment in Charlotte.
I didn't realize you were there for that long.
We're gonna go back and forth. So my son Dallas is running it's called the Summer Cookout series. It's a Legends Car series.
Yeah.
And it's at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun. And the way that they do it is they race every Monday and Tuesday throughout June and July. This was the first session of June, and this was a practice only. Going forward, it's either a double header or a single race.
Okay.
So and then at the end there's a champion, and it's just a small series. That's what it is. But it's a best of the best type thing. This is where you want to come test yourself. This is the ultimate streetcar event of the Legends Car world.
Legends cars, yeah. Okay.
And this would be like their invitation. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna run a late model a couple 3 times this summer, including this weekend. So
Okay, great.
so we're gonna go back and forth, but that does not mean that the world of Ultimate Streetcar will be delayed. No, it will. It will only be advanced. So what we're gonna do today is do a full recap of Willow Springs. That's the event that just was.
Mhm.
And then we have a nice little break in this series, and we're going to bring on a series of interview guests, which is typically a fan favorite thing.
It is.
And then we resume events in August at the end of the summer. So we kind of have a summer vacation here for a little bit, which is nice. The event that will resume in August is at Road America, August 28th through 30, and that will be with, I think the notes here say SRO, which you have said is the old Pirelli World Challenge.
Correct. Yeah. Sports car racing, GT touring cars, things like that. Very high professional level. And they run their series by themselves. They're actually a European series, and this is the US version of the European series. They oftentimes run with IndyCar as a support series. So we're gonna join them this year. It's our first time working with SRO. As a partner. Now it's not our first time working with SRO because they've been partners with OPTIMA batteries for a number of years. I'm talking double digits all the way back to, as far as I can remember, back to 2008 when it was the old Pirelli World Challenge. We've been the official battery of Pirelli World Challenge and now SRO. We're very good friends with the president there, Greg Gill, and he was excited to be able to bring Ultimate Streetcar to the SRO crowd. So we're looking very forward to running with them at Road America. It's going to be fun.
What is the cars that they run there? Is it all?
So they run, they run professional sports cars. So they run classes very similar to ours. They have GT classes, GTS classes, touring classes, things like that. So you'll see Mercedes and BMWs in their touring classes. They tend to be European brand cars. Although you'll see some Audis and Volvos and things like that there, BMWs, Mercedes, that kind of thing there. We're going to bring the American muscle to the series, and I think their fans are really going to love it.
Well, if they haven't seen it before, they'll be a little shocked.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been to
Holy crap.
several SRO races, and their fans are rabid. They're well versed in racing and in vehicles, and so we're excited to be part of that for the weekend.
Awesome. Cool. Okay. And then in the past month, we've done something new here for the series called the Sponsor Summit. First of its kind. Is that something you want to share here with the show?
Yeah, we did that in May. We did a sponsor summit in May. I think it was May the 5th. We did a sponsor summit, and basically we got all of our Ultimate Street Car Association sponsors together on a big call and talked to them about all of the changes that we've made for Ultimate Street Car. We gave them an update on where we are with regard to our social media, with our impressions that we've been delivering, with the packages that we put together for all of our sponsors. Gave them an update on that. Got some feedback from them, but it was the first time we'd done that, and it was really neat because we want to keep the sponsors engaged in what we're doing. We're doing a lot more collaboration with our sponsors, and what we're trying to do is really work better together. Instead of having them just write a check and then we do all the stuff, there's kind of a force multiplier. If we can deliver stuff back to them that they can use, and then they can send that out through their social media channels, it's not just doubled, it's exponentially greater for the number of impressions that get delivered and the value that comes to their sponsor packages. So that's why we wanted to do that. We did it for the first time in May. We had a really good turnout. We had all of our sponsors show up with the exception of one. So it was really good. And we're planning on doing another one in August and give them another update about halfway through the year on where we are with our deliverables and packages. And just to be clear, we were at 100% of goal on a lot of them at the May summit. So we've already reached 100% of goal. And so we're going to exceed many of the goals that we had set for impressions with regard to sponsor packages. So that's really good news. The TV packages are starting to come together. We'll start seeing some television just before SEMA. Everything we're doing now is on social media and YouTube. And the number of hours that we're seeing, especially on YouTube, to me is flabbergasting. People are watching our stuff, and it's really cool. It's fun.
It is a platform that a series like this can really shine. And that was one of the things I think that we mentioned this year to people, that for people that have been doing this series a long time that maybe didn't want to see anything different, because change is sometimes hard to get your head around.
Right.
The good news is there's anything you didn't like probably is going away, and all the stuff that you probably should want is getting added. And that's the social media side of things.
Yeah.
And it's a big increase. So just want to let people know that things are cooking here. And then for the summer, you get a series of interviews to enjoy while you prepare your car for August. This show, though, Jimmy, is our favorite sponsor. That sponsors this show. Ford Line Wheels, of course.
Of course it is.
They've presented this show for a long time. The ZX3 wheel was one of their first three-piece wheels. 30 years later, they still make it.
Yep.
It's a company that has a lot of history, but that doesn't stop innovating. They put the fun in functional. Make sure that you tell them we sent you. Order yourself up a set of wheels. You have plenty of time to get wheels for August. There's
absolutely do.
No issue there.
Yeah.
And I do know that I've seen more than a few competitors post that they are needing a little more front tire size. And
I saw that same post.
Yeah.
I know which one you're talking about.
Yes. So now's the time. A little bit bigger. That sounds good. So with that, let's go ahead and do the rundown from Willow Springs. So first here, some new sponsors. Now, were these at the series? We had Land Pro Creations. They are the new sponsor of the GT class. We have Southern
Hmm.
Roofing, the new autocross sponsor.
That's correct. And they were not physically at those. Those are new. Those are two new non-endemic sponsors. It's always great to bring on non-endemic sponsors because they feel the value of the series, and they see that what they're doing, even though it's non-endemic to racing, they see the crossover in that. And so it's great. We're really excited. Land Pro Creations is a landscape company, and of course, who doesn't like landscaping? We love that. They're on the GT class. We kind of laughed about that and said that's for grass and turf because that's what they specialize
Yeah.
in. And we want our drivers not to specialize in grass and turf when they're at the event. However, everybody wants to have a neat and tidy yard and lawn. So let's let's bring them on board. And Southern Roofing, everyone needs a roof, right? And
Everybody
so
does need a roof.
they liked the exposure they were going to get from our autocross segment, and so they're on board for the rest of the year for that. So excited to have those two new sponsors. We introduced them to the drivers at Willow Springs. Their names were on the signage there and on our sponsor sheet. So they were introduced there. It's a lot of fun, and I'd love to say thank you both to Land Pro Creations and Southern Roofing for coming on board for 2026.
Welcome. I hope that you guys like fast cars and people who do stuff.
I'm
that,
sure
that,
I'm sure they
that is
do, and mayy later this year we'll be able to bring them on and interview them
that'd be
and
fun.
introduce
Yeah.
everyone else to them. Yeah.
Also sporting some new unis. Staff's
The
just looking
staff
better.
uniforms,
Yeah.
yeah, and a lot of people have noticed that. If I got to wear mine for the first time at Willow, we introduced them at NOLA, and I wasn't at NOLA, so I received mine when I got to Willow Springs, and everybody notices them. They're really nice, professional looking, sublimated shirts that snap on the front. They've got collars. They say official on the back, and everybody on the team wears them, so that everyone knows who the team is and is part of the team. And it's just part of our transition to kind of bring the level of everything else up. We all have matching jackets now too as well. So we got shirts, jackets, and then we have kind of a foul weather jacket as well. That's kind of a layered rain shell with a puffy on the inside of it. So if it's cold, excuse me, cold Las Vegas mornings or inclement weather. I will say that we wore the lighter weight jackets at this event because the wind was howling at Willow Springs, which it often does. There's a giant wind farm literally right on the side of the mountain that you can see from there. So the wind blows out there a lot. But on Friday in particular, we had wind gusts up to 35 miles an hour and a sustained wind of over 20. So it'll beat you up for a little bit. And by the way, it will dehydrate you as well if you're not aware of that. Some people
Sure will.
figured that out. You gotta hydrate. But Saturday and Sunday, the weather was much nicer while we were there, and the wind calmed down, and the sun came out. The sun was out, and the temperatures were warmer. I think the Friday temperature, the high was like, I don't know, 65 degrees that day. So with that wind, it was actually a little chilly on Friday, but Saturday was like beautiful because it was like mid 70s on Saturday. Then it got up into the mid 80s on Sunday. It was a little bit uncomfortable on Sunday, although there's not much humidity out there, so it's very tolerable.
Lots of runs because we were kind of on an old school schedule here. I think I had in the
Hmm.
notes 11 autocross runs Saturday, 6 road course sessions Sunday, 12 peak performance challenge runs on Sunday, 57 entrants. People were worn out.
They were worn out by Sunday, and I had talked to a couple drivers, and I was just kind of joking with them. I said, "Are you getting enough seat time?" And they're like, "Man, that's too much. We don't really need that much." And I said, "Well, look, it's all about strategy, right? I would rather give you too many runs and let you decide which ones you don't want to take. You're not required to run them all." And they kind of scratched their head for a second and said, "Oh, we didn't really think about that." They were just trying to run them all because they were on the
They're there.
schedule.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, but we did have a lot of drivers that were very strategic on when they ran, how much they ran, because there's, a big part of this series is the strategy on how to manage your vehicle, manage your tires, especially when we have that many runs, when we're by ourselves. You want to be very strategic and not wear out you or your junk. And a lot of people were very good at it. And some of those people have invite by their name on the results we're about to give away.
Well, let's go ahead and start through the results here. So first up here, we have the Anderson Composite Participants Choice Award. Thrilled to see it. Tony Phillips, back in black or red,
Yep.
in his 55 Bel Air. And
Yeah.
you may want to recap the story. People who were there and participated sure know, but Tony had a different Bel Air at one point in time, and this car is the phoenix from the ashes from a tough incident that he had in that other one.
Literally from the ashes. Tony had an incident in Portland where he hit a wall and breached the fuel tank. Car caught on fire. Tony was fine. He exercised his fire drill, which we do at every single event for the drivers, and he got out of the car just fine. He was unhurt, but the car was well damaged a lot. He hit the wall hard, and luckily he had a Speed Tech chassis in that car. Probably saved his life. Really, I'm not kidding you. Speed Tech chassis kind of held everything together and kept the car from crunching together. And but the car caught on fire and a lot of damage to the vehicle. So Tony built a new car, another 55 Chevy. And this car is wonderful. It actually has some parts from the old car, but it's got a new chassis, new motor, and that kind of stuff. But he used the door and some other pieces off of the other 55 Chevy. And this was his first event back with the 55 Chevy. He had switched over to a Subaru BRZ in the meantime and kept running with us. He'd run a number of events for the BRZ, but he said it was less than 2 years from the time that incident happened in Portland until he got this car back together and debuted it at Willow Springs. So, and it's an awesome car. It's a beautiful two-tone black and red. The trim is all blacked out on it. It's got this really cool wing on the back that just, a 55 is a pretty boxy car, but the wing he put on the back, it fits just perfect on the car. So Tony, congratulations. All the folks there wished they could take home your car, and you got the Anderson Composites People's Choice Award.
Good for you, Tony. The Gearhead Classic Snapshot Award. This went to Andy Kitzman in a 71 Roadrunner.
And we don't see 71 Roadrunners hardly ever, right? And this one was all patina. It was sublime for most of it. The hood was F8 ivy green. But it was just a really, really cool car. And of course, his car number is 426. Sure. Most appropriate for the Mopar. And we just don't get that many. Just don't get that many Mopars. So, Gearhead Classics, of course, they are big into muscle cars, American-made muscle, and so he's going to get a big metal sign from Gearhead Classics with his car on it to hang in his garage and/or man cave. So, congratulations, Andy.
The Operational Speed Supply First Timer Award, the Win Your Money in Racing Award. You get your entry fee back, or you can apply it to another event. Help me with the name here. Walt, is it Proenza?
Proenza, yep, Walt Proenza. Yep, and Walt was driving a Chevy C10 pickup truck. We had 7 first-timers at this event, and so our first-timer competition is like a competition within a competition. So all of the first-timers, no matter what class they're in, are competing against each other for the first-timer award. And the first-timer with the highest combined score at the end of the event wins that award. And Walt in his C10 truck did really well. And took home the Operational Speed Supply, big swag bag full of Operational Speed Supply stuff.
Is he going to do another event?
90+% of our winners of the First Timer Award apply that win to another event, so they don't take their money back. They actually say, "Just enter me for this event." Cool. And so maybe we'll see Walt. Maybe we'll see him at Laguna Seca. He's a West Coast guy, so maybe we'll see him at Laguna Seca in October. That'd be kind of fun.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Operational Speed Supply Surgical Strike Award. And I had to do a double take here, so your notes made no sense to me. This is wrong, but it is apparently this has been validated, as we say in the
Yes.
business.
Yeah.
19 competitors tied with 0 cones.
Yeah. The Surgical Strike Award is all about who
Come
hits
on,
the
that's
fewest cones
well,
on Saturday during the Southern Roofing Autocross. And so, believe it or not, we had 19 drivers that did not hit a cone for 11 runs. They all made 11 runs and didn't hit a single cone. And that is, to me, phenomenal.
and we have
Rob
eyewitnesses to
Bird.
this.
We
This
do. Yeah, Rob
okay,
Rob
this
and Trish
happened.
Bird, they're the ones that are scoring this, and they're the ones that make sure that they're really good at what they do. They built a phenomenal course up on the balcony up there. Everybody talked about the course. It was such a great time. But we had 19 drivers. Now understand too though that in ultimate streetcar competition there are no cone penalties. If you hit a cone, that is a DNF. So that means that run doesn't count. And part of the reason that we did that was, if you remember back in 2020, we had this weird virus thing that started and made it
I
very
did hear that.
difficult. We used to have a relationship with FSAE, and we'd get all these FSAE teams to come out and work the course for us. And during the viral period of 2020 and beyond, colleges told those FSAE teams they could no longer travel. They couldn't travel, they couldn't get out, they couldn't do anything. They basically shut them down. And we needed to figure out how to be more efficient on the autocross. And so instead of just figuring out how to get different workers, it's like, how do we figure out how to not need them? And so we decided to change the rules. And if you hit a cone, it was a DNF. And honestly, it has helped tremendously because people actually just stay off the cones. And it's more efficient. We get a lot more runs in a day. And we don't have to have a bunch of workers out there. Now, we still have workers out there because there is an occasional cone strike out there. We know that. But we had 19 drivers that did not hit a cone on Saturday during
Yeah.
the operational or during the Southern Roofing Autocross. But if we have a tie, then it goes to the fastest time for the driver that did not hit a cone. And that went to Duke Langley. He actually ran a 30.9, which was not the fastest autocross run of the weekend, but a very, very fast time. And he did not hit a cone. So he's the winner of the Operational Speed Supply Surgical Strike Award. He gets this really cool trophy that lights up and it says Operational Speed Supply Surgical Strike Award on it. It's a pretty cool award.
Duke's driving the Corvette, right? 2002.
He's got a 2002, yeah, Corvette. Yep. Pretty well-known Corvette in our series. Everybody's scared of him.
Should be.
Yeah, he's fast.
Yeah. Finally, the Summit Racing Equipment Spirit of the Event Award. This is the award that makes this series unique. It started with the idea that, much like Thor, one could be worthy.
One can be worthy. Yes.
And in this case, Kyle was worthy. And I'm interested to see how he is chosen.
Well, I always tell people this award goes to, it doesn't always go to the fastest vehicle or the fastest driver. It goes to typically the individual that best shows the passion and the enthusiasm and what Ultimate Streetcar is all about. So I got an email from Kyle, oh, by the way, it went to Kyle Hansen in the Ford Fairmont wagon, right? I got an email from Kyle approximately 3 years ago. He was driving a BMW at the time in the series, which not everybody does. He's a little different. But he sent me an email about 3 years ago and said, hey, I'm reading through the rules and I have this idea. And before I put this idea into motion, I want to talk to you to make sure that we're on the same page and that I understand your rules correctly. And he explained his idea to me, and I said, well, Kyle, by gosh, yes, that is correct. You have interpreted our rules correctly, and you may embark on your journey to build what you want to build. So Kyle had looked at our rules, and he had looked at the GTC class rules that came out with a 107-inch wheelbase, front engine, 4 or 6 cylinder vehicle. He then decided that the best way to build that car was to get a Ford Fairmont wagon, which is basically a Fox body,
It is.
at a 105-inch wheelbase, and put an EcoBoost motor in it. So he's got a 4-cylinder turbocharged EcoBoost in a Ford Fairmont wagon. And it took him 3 years to build it, but he did. He built it and brought it out and debuted it and actually did quite well. The car was really cool. We don't see a lot of wagons, although we did have a Ford Fairmont wagon at our very first event in 2014. I never thought I'd see another one. That wagon ran in our GTV class because it was a V8 wagon. And but Kyle just, and this is what I love about it, is he looked at our rules and wanted to build something different. And he did. And it's quite different in the GTC class. In fact, it caught a few of us off guard. It's like, why does a wagon have a GTC sticker on it? But it meets every criteria for our compact class, and he did quite well. And so it's wonderful. So Kyle not only wins an invite, which is very cool, and that's really kind of the big thing, right? With the Summit Spirit of the Event Award, you get an invite to SEMA, and you get to bring that car out and show everybody else what it is. Hanging with the big dogs, right? Getting the invite. But you also get this giant swag bag from Summit, and we don't talk about that enough because I think Summit sends you like an easy up tent and some lawn chairs and like a cooler and all kinds of stuff to make you very comfortable when you're at an event. And it's really cool, a really cool swag set that you get from Summit Racing as part of that, as well as the invite.
Well, when we get to the class segments, he's going to get another one. So,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Kyle. That's my a Fairmont. My buddy Aaron Jaden had a '79 Fairmont sedan, but that was a car he didn't want, and Kyle did want, and he did want well. So
yes, he did. And it's just cool to see different things like that, and to see it all come together and actually perform well. He performed well at this event. Yeah.
Let's run through our segments. So we have the Outlaw class sponsored by 9 Lives Racing. And as a reminder, you have to run, was it 2 or 3 events?
This is 2. Yeah, it's the Lucky 7 Outlaw class. And each Outlaw driver has to run at least 2 events. And then at the end of the season, we take all of the Outlaw drivers that ran at least 2, put them in the order of points, and the top 7 will receive an invite to the SEMA show. Okay.
Very unique. They do all the competition. They do not do design and engineering.
That's correct.
That is one. They don't.
Yeah. So 400 points is a perfect score for an Outlaw car. Yeah.
And third, John Bickford in a 2024 Tesla 3, and second, Danny Weller in a 2026 Corvette Z06, and in first place, Duke Langley in his 02 Corvette.
Yeah, and this was separated. Those 3 were separated by 4 points. 398 won it. Yeah, he won by a single point over Danny Weller. And Duke is not unfamiliar to our podiums. Duke has been to the Ultimate Streetcar Invitational a number of years. So I suspect that when he runs his second event with us, which I imagine will be Laguna Seca, because Duke's in Oregon, and so he tends to hit our West Coast events. So I suspect that after Laguna Seca, he will have enough points to get an invite. And I also suspect that Danny Weller will also have enough points to get in. And I know John Bickford is trying very hard to get in. And all 3 of these, excuse me, were at the Ultimate Streetcar Invitational last year.
They sure were. Okay.
Yeah.
The GTV segment up next. That V stands for Vintage, sponsored by SpeedTech. Let's just do the top 5 here, Jimmy. In 5th, we have Nick Smith. In 4th, we have Tom Farrington. In 3rd, we have Efren Diaz. In 2nd, Rick Ray. And in 1st, Nick Relampagos with the invite in his 70 Camaro. And I probably could have given you the points here, but Tom Farrington was at 444. Efren Diaz was at 445. That was a 1 point difference between 3rd and 4th there. So
yeah,
very tight field. Yeah, very cool.
Hence Tom's post that he needs bigger front tires.
He would like a little more front tire, and he's going to find a way to do it. And now he has the opportunity to do it. Now he's got all the parts.
Yeah, and in GTV this was an all Chevrolet top 5 and an all Camaro podium on this one. So we've got
Oh
all
yeah,
first
fourth and fifth
gen.
were Chevelles. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we've got two. We've got first and second gen Camaros on the podium, which is really cool. And again, none of these folks are unfamiliar with Ultimate Streetcar. Nick, Rick, Efren, Tom, and even Nick Smith. They've all done multiple Ultimate Streetcar events, and this was a great battle in the GTV class. And they were laughing and giggling and joking all weekend long because it was a tight race. It really was. And I think that Nick Relampagos actually got the points he needed on his final run on the road course of the afternoon. He laid down a real hero lap on his last run, I think, is what got him to the top step of the podium. So, and Nick, of course, accepted his invite. So we're going to see him at the Ultimate Streetcar Invitational at SEMA.
Cool. GTT class, that last T stands for truck, sponsored by No Limit Engineering. In fourth, we have Walt Proenza with a 69 C10. In third, we have Jeff Road in a 74 C10. In second, we have Hondo Miller in his 70 Blazer. He'll get the invite. In first place, we have Dave Carroll in his 74 Blazer, who already had an invite. So Hondo goes.
Yeah. Again, a lot of these folks have been to several of our events before, but Walt was a first timer and still finished fourth in the class. That was great. David Carroll, as usual, top step of the podium. He's again very familiar with that top step of the podium, knows how to drive that truck very well. But that means the invite went to Hondo Miller, who is a sponsor of the series. And he's the laid back performance guy. All of our T-shirts that we do all come from Hondo Miller. All of our event shirts that everybody gets at every event come from Hondo. And he earned his invite, and his wife was fist pumping when he got his invite. So they're pretty excited to come to Vegas.
Good for him.
Yeah. While you're reading our next one, I'm actually going to send a quick text to let people know I'm going to be late for my next meeting, and that's okay.
we are both getting peppered with notifications.
We are. Yeah, I hate it because it's a distraction a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna say, hey, go ahead with the meeting.
Typically, when I'm in my studio setup, I can mute all that crap out on my side. Right. But I can't do it today.
Yeah.
While you do that, next up here is the GTS class. That S stands for Sports Car, sponsored by After Dark Speed. In fifth place, we have Brendan King in his 2025 Corvette. In fourth, Thomas Marquez, I believe.
Thomas Marquez, yep.
2015 Subaru Impreza STI. In third, Brandon Hurst with his 2022 Tesla Model S. And second, Frankie Trutanek. He'll get the invite in his 2017 Corvette. And first, Tony Pruch. He has an invite in his 2020
Tony has an invite.
Corvette.
He does. But this was Tony's first time finishing on the top step of the podium. He actually got his invite in a second place finish, and someone else had already had their invite, so he got his invite that way. So he earned his invite, but this is his first time finishing on the top step of the podium. So congratulations to Tony on his first win, 489 points. That's a big day. Tony's been working a lot with the Downforce coaching team. They're a sponsor of our series. He went out to Willow Springs a couple weeks prior to this event and spent some time on the track and spent some time with our Downforce coaching guys. And his lap times have improved dramatically since he's been working with the Downforce coaching guys. I want to say a big congratulations, though, to Frankie Trutanek at P2 Motorsports. He got the invite. Frankie's been a big fan of Ultimate Streetcar for a long time. He's one of our great sponsors. He's going to be a sponsor, but he's been supporting this series for a number of years. You might remember he had a Buick in the GTV class.
I do remember that
previously, which was a really, really cool car. Now he's driving the Corvette. He's been in our Outlaw class for a while. Now he's back in GTS. So this was his first event that he had to do a design and engineering presentation. He ran Outlaw last year, so I saw him over practicing before he got to D&E. So Frankie, congratulations on your invite. It's going to be good to see you out at the Ultimate Streetcar Invitational. I do want to say congratulations too to Thomas Marquez. He's struggled with his Subaru for a number of years and figured out a problem that had been affecting him for a number of years, and he got that problem solved at this event and was actually able to complete the entire event, all runs at the entire event, and you should have seen the smile on his face. He's been frustrated. He's typically been able to make like one lap on the road course, a run or two on the autocross, and then the car spits out a fuel pump. He finally figured out his problem, uh, and got it solved and was able to run the whole event. And I was very happy for him. It's really cool when
What was
things
the
like that
problem?
happen.
What
So
was it?
apparently had a surge tank that was mounted in an area that was heating it up, and so all the fuel that was going to the car was minimum of 140 degrees,
Hmm.
and it just got hotter from there, and it was just burning up fuel pumps, vapor locking, doing all kinds of nasty things. Um, Figured out, relocated that surge tank into a cooler area of the vehicle, and all's well.
Man, I'm happy for the fix, but I can understand the frustrated. Like, damn, that's all it was.
Right.
Like,
It was, and when it's something simple, it's great, but when
yeah.
it takes you a long time to figure it out, it can be frustrating.
And
So I also want to say, we mentioned Brendan King's name, and we also mentioned Colin King's name in the Outlaw class. The King family, who own Viking shocks, were here at this event. We hadn't seen them for a while, and it was great to see the King family back out at this event. Both Colin and Brendan were racing, and of course, Mom and Dad, Chris and Chris, were at the event to be the support staff and the pit crew.
Hmm.
But it was great to have them back out. They recently relocated from Minnesota to Phoenix, and so now
Oh,
they're West Coast folks now. So this was the first event that they've been able to get to since they relocated, and it was great to have them back.
very different winters
Yeah,
between. Yeah, yeah.
very. Yeah.
Next up, the GTL class, the lights class, sponsored by Optima Lithium. In fourth place, we have Garrett Randall in a 2008 Corvette. In third, we have Ryan Breezy, right?
Yep.
2008 Corvette.
Yeah.
Second, Terry Breezy. And is it the same car or another 2008 Corvette?
That's Terry is Ryan's dad, and it's a different car. Yeah, those are two different cars,
Okay, two
same
different
same
cars.
year. Yeah, one's a Z06, one's not, and Dad got son by 1 point, which that was fun all weekend long to watch
What,
that go down.
what
Yeah,
one's enough?
one's enough. Yes, yeah.
And in first place with the invite, Lisa Berry and a 2015 Porsche GT3.
Yep, and Lisa is new to Ultimate Streetcar. This was not her first event. I don't know if you remember last year when we announced Lisa as a first timer winning her class as a first timer. So she got an invite last year to the SEMA show for the very first time, and actually finished top 10 in Ultimate Streetcar Invitational last year. She
Hmm.
is a hot shoe. Really, she's a great driver. And I wish, I don't know if you know Lisa, but anyone that knows Lisa, she is the smilingest person I have ever seen in my life. She has a grin on her face the whole time. And I finally walked up to her in her car and grid one time, and I said, I wish I knew if you were having a good time or not. 'Cause
Hmm.
she's so full of energy and smiling all the time. And it's just such a pleasure to have at the events. Lisa is married to Matt Ramirez in the regular ass Mustang. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit too. But congratulations, Lisa. This is the second time this year that we have had a female win the GTL class. Second time. Yeah, in Texas at G2, we also had a female win the GTL class. So someone texted me last night and said maybe L is for ladies. And I said, I will talk about that, but it still stands for lights right now.
Man, can we do this stuff? No, lights. Lights is what it stands
It's
for.
lights. It is lights. GTL is lights. Yeah, yeah. But I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful that our female drivers are excelling. They're doing well. They're standing on the top step of the podium because we welcome ladies as much as you want to come out. We'd love to have you there. We do.
Top of the board's top of the board. That's how it works. GTC class, that C stands for compact. In fifth, we have Nasano Beretta?
Nasario. He goes by Nas.
Nasario.
Yep.
Nasario. Okay.
Nas Moto. That's what it says on his license plates. Nas Moto.
Okay.
Yeah.
20.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This one's a blurry image.
It's a Focus ST. Yeah.
Focus ST,
it's a 2018
Focus.
Focus ST. Yep. Yep.
Fourth, we have John McKissick and a 71 MG BGT. Third, is it Noel or Noel?
Noel Tabor.
Noel Tabor and a 93 Toyota MR2. I have a Noel who's a daughter. Second,
Yeah.
we have Kyle Hansen and his 79 Ford Fairmont. He's going to get the invite. In first place, we have Matt Davis in a 2021 Mazda Miata who did get the invite but could not accept it.
That's
And
correct.
therefore it goes
So
to Kyle
yeah,
Hansen.
so it goes to Kyle Hansen. And congratulations, Matt. He had a really good weekend. He scored 405 points. He had an 11-point advantage over second place. And Matt is a very experienced ultimate streetcar driver. He was in his Miata and had a good weekend. I did have to help him push start it one time. The key fob died, and so I had to help him push start it, and he got it going. But he had a good weekend. And on the podium, I asked him if he'd come join us in Vegas, and he said, not really sure. He said, I'm getting married that weekend. And I said, well, we'll just get you married. We have a big stage right there at SEMA. We can just do it right there at SEMA. And apparently on the Facebook Live posting, there was no, I'm not getting married at SEMA, from his other half. So Matt had to turn down his invite, and I said, "Man, you really went deep into the excuse box for that one, to get out of it." So
It's better to have clarity now, though.
it is,
Yeah,
for
that-
sure, and I love the honest communication, right? That's going back and forth.
That is not a let's figure it out later type of thing.
So Kyle Hansen is going to join us not only through the spirit of the event, but through his second place finish as a driver in the GTC class. So the Fairmont wagon's coming. Yeah,
100%. Final class here, GT class, sponsored by OPTIMA.
this is actually the Land Pro Creations.
Oh,
And you have to say that. Yeah, that's our new
Let's
sponsor.
do it again. The GT class, sponsored by Land Pro Creations.
Yep.
And in fifth place, we have James Pierce in a 2017 Camaro. In fourth place, we have Chris, is it Picorni?
Yep.
Picorni in a 92 Mustang. And third, we have Giovanni Acosta, 2020 Ford GT500. Second, Brian Riley in a 2018 Camaro. And in first, with the win and the invite, Matt Ramirez in a 2004 Mustang GT.
Yep. And Matt has been working on that car for a long time. And if you think about it, a 2004 Mustang GT is not the fastest Mustang platform that was ever produced. A lot of people go with the Fox body Mustang or the newer SN Mustangs, but not Matt. He took the hard way and got this 2004. We talked to Matt, and you might remember this was a 2-part podcast because it was a long one, and he told us his story about how this went. But congratulations, Matt. I think it's awesome that husband and wife both stood on the top step of the podium at an ultimate streetcar event. His wife, Lisa, won in the GTL class. So neat to have husband and wife, neat to have families there. We had a lot of families there. The Weller family was there. Both Danny and Haley were driving. Terry and Ryan Breezy were there. The King family was there. Matt and Lisa Ramirez were there. Rick Ray's daughter is married to Ryan Breezy. She was there. Elizabeth was there. So a lot of families there. And man, it makes my heart full when I see all these families coming out and doing this kind of stuff together. It's a lot of fun.
And by the way, L for lady, they can win any class. You know how you get
They
the
can
you know
win.
how you
They
win a
can
class?
win any
You get
class.
the most
They
points.
can.
You get the most,
Right? Yeah.
most points wins. This is America. Scoreboard. That's how we do it.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I want to point out one other thing too. We've started this year. This year we started giving out trophies for third place and second place. We used to only do the winners. We would have a podium, but only the winner got a trophy. This year we now have trophies for all of our podium finishers, and that was one of Adam Hanna's ideas, and I have to say that's been a great idea. The participants seem to really love it. So just know that if you get a top 3 finish, you're going to take home some hardware with Ultimate Streetcar.
Awesome. Okay, that is our rundown of the event that was at Willow Springs, and it's going to be at the end of the summer before we have our next event here. So we are now in interview mode. Don't worry, I won't make you preview who we've chosen, but we have 4 interviews slated here,
Right.
Between June, July, and August. So your second show of June will be interview, both Julys and the 1st of August. The second show of August will be back to business, preparation for Road America. Jimmy, anything else before we go that people need to do here, not in the off season, but while we're preparing for the next event?
Well, what I would love everybody to do is follow and share on our social media if you haven't already. And we're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. please follow along. That's what keeps our sponsors coming back, and that's what we need to do to keep this series alive. The more you share the stuff, the more people see it, the more participants are going to want to come out. It's how we grow the series. So if you could please, everybody, just if you see it, share it and engage with it and ask us questions and make comments and things like that. It helps everybody.
100%. Jimmy, how would you like people to reach out to you?
I'm Jimmy at driveusca.com. My first name is spelled Jimi, and you can find me there if you need something.
If you got any questions for the show, send them to me, Robert at themusclecarplace.com. You can find this show in all of your favorite audio platforms, as well as YouTube and now Spotify. So we'll be able to start plugging video into Spotify too. See, this is a whole new era.
Right? It really is. We've changed so many things for the better. Yes, we have.
100%. All right, Jimmy, thank you as always. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. We enjoy your feedback. We'll look forward to the next one. See ya in a couple weeks for our first summer interview series. Bye-bye.